So what is more possible to find out the price in the corridor, or try the shop where you will see the corridor 1.0, 1.6? What about 0.9, 0.6? So they are discussing the corridor of prices and possibilities. What is the possibility to stay in the zone? The possibility is 0.8 till 1.6. So when we spread the zone, we lose the profit. So there is the difference between the width of the zone and the profit we can get. Well, Gibson said one more interesting thing, which I liked very much, that I think that simple securities bring profits because of waveness. It's like waves in their environment, and the more waves are, it's better. We use it, we are not afraid of it. Then it's how to decide this problem. The whole idea is that we cover the need and get the price under the control, and when the price is out of the zone, then we correct the zone, like sales, like boats change their sails. If there is no wind, the boat stays, and if the wind cares, we use the sails, and the change of sails is approximately costable, for example, $100 per change in the sail, but at the whole it's quite expensive, so after that we get profit even then further. So that was the idea. How to cover the zone, and the first mind is to trade both sides at one moment buying BSL. Well, something like ENG, yes. So I offered one idea for the traders, and they didn't like it. They thought that it's better to sell in one way and then to the opposite way, and we need to work in both ways, in one and the other, at the same time. And they told me that there is material about this is absent. Absolutely absent, nobody says about that. Yes, so, but I didn't find the development of the theory quite good. And what does Gibson say? He says that there are several instruments of opposite dynamics. It's negative cross correlation. Well, if we invest in C or D, and then we'll get the profit. And the waveness remains, so that's why we get the profit. So it means at the moment the BSL model is very good. And I think, why does nobody use this idea to trade in both sides very active, but I have never found that. What about the point of way out? What about the mathematics of trading? When I'm reading you how it was 5 years ago, and I offered, and it was very interesting for a scientist to make something good without fantasy. I read the books, and I had one book, such as Vadim Kotikov and James Hall. What about hedge funds and new rules of trading? Alfred Winslow Jones was a very good person. He finished Harvard, and then he was vice consul in Berlin, and after that he received Master of Sociology, and he was the editor of Columbia University, and he brought the revolution idea in 1949, such a revolution, how to connect long positions on securities with short in one package. So that's why hedge funds So I'm looking here, and yet after that theory it was even easier. And further I went at the principle how the calculation technique works. For example, the transistor is a stupid element, and the whole sense is like their nets are like DNA. So let's see the shortest net of orders by from 3 to 4. So we can cover 4 figures in 3 zones. Where everything is primitive and everything is correct, so we cover the zone, and any moving is, for example, if the possibility is 0.1, so the moving is $10. The way out from the net is approximately 10, 20, 30, 60, approximately $100. Yes? So it's mathematical model, and we know the segment of prices which is inside. So we can take the moving from figure to figure about $10, for example. So further, let's take another net cell from the opposite side, the same. Next idea, these are simple elements. We gather in the element trigger, which works in calculating techniques or computer calculators. So there are 2 stable positions and simple logic between them. We get it together and we get something like the simplest trigger in trading. Inside the zone there are no problems. If the problem happens when we leave the zone, when traders buy, I open the account on $2,000, and using the strategy, the price was 1.3, 1.34, and down 1.20. I earned 60% during the fluctuation, and traders got or plus or minus, and a lot of people had just 0 or even better. They were losers. So I decided to go further, and I'm writing that if the center moves, so it costs approximately order 0.01, the price is 60, and when the fluctuation happens, the profit changes. The first practical results were very happy for me, but traders disagree with me, because I had 60% of profit and they even had now 10. So let's see further. I see the construction from the point of view of how it interpreter this trading. It changes psychology. There is no possibility of risk and profit, and we have the profit and well, for example, when I use a bow, the arrow flies further. For example, to find out the electricity, we needed to find the mathematic models, like rifles when the bullet goes out. So there are 2 moves in each day. For example, fight bow, 2 actions. So the psychology is changing to the risk and profit. The profit is more during the risk, and the main question is how to get the risk. And what should we do with the width of the zone? So the main is the more risk, the more profit. Well, if I cover the more zone, I get more. As Gibson said, the risk is not to throw the bow when you are using it while shooting. Well, the risk is to use the changing of the system. The higher we get the profit. Soon this has that in order to attack, there must be defense. So we need to we should say the attack and win the whole war. Just see the Wall Street, simple trading on the market, on the financial market, it's a war. So these principles also must be used. So we have a good boat and we are doing everything right, and then we are not flying, we are not floating on the small boat during the storm. So we should leave the package if we didn't calculate the zones. What is the possibility of mistaken calculation? I mean, risk. Well, how can we get out of the zone at what place? No, I'm just showing you the simplest trigger for analogy. And then there was the problem, how to fight. This down reaches out. The down must be flexible, so the zone must width like waveless and follow the trend with width or becoming shorter, if it depending on the behavior of the market. It's like Python with each, it's the market, so it will be calculated with a security level. Well, I saw new schemes, how it worked, because it was the simplest trigger, and now we have new information, more information. For example, the pattern that was used to improve computer better and better. If we use a more complicated scheme, it's a synchron D trigger. All the registers are being constructed on. This construction becomes more complicated because of different connections. It's more complicated and you need to think how it works. And these are registers from the triggers I have already shown you. For digital moving register. Well, for example, the TV scheme, I'm not guessing when you are saying while I'm writing your sound, and it works on the diapason, and the scheme becomes better. For example, the higher sound is well, the sound can be written of one zone and the low sound with a small zone. It's recorded different zones. So in every part I take my profit, and then it occurred that we have found a way how to if the signal goes away, we have the checkpoint when the deposit goes down, but then it starts moving and searching the trend. And now we see the direction, the possibility of 50% of the market only on the direction of the price following the zone, if it is possible to use without the use of additional analytical procedures, which can be used also, but now are being used also, like Fibonacci numbers, without these things to find out in clean the results of everything.